Hello, everybody, and welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Thursday, the 1st of August. Wow, summer's going by quickly, isn't it? Today, I'd like to talk to you a little bit about assumptions about Scripture and what we do with it and how we think about it. The other day, on Tuesday, I had posted a video about the whole cat lady thing and the recognition that women who do not have children are indeed people who deserve to be listened to, and a few other things. And when I got up in the morning and I was just sort of scrolling through my emails, because when you make a comment on the YouTube, it notifies my email. So I may not look at the YouTube channel yet, but it comes up as an email. And somebody posted just a piece of scripture without any context, just scripture. And it was first thing in the morning. I didn't even have my glasses on yet. I was sort of doing that way, like get up, take your pills, brush your teeth, have a shower, kind of ease into your day. And I saw that. I thought, oh, here we go. Here we go. And I owe an apology to the person who commented with the scripture from Isaiah, because my first assumption was that here we go, another person pulling scripture out to tell me that I can't be a priest or a bishop, that I can't speak God's truth because of my gender. And so I sat down and I looked it up, and it was beautiful. It was a beautiful piece of scripture about barren women, and that they're not a curse. They haven't been cursed. But it really made me think. I went out for breakfast with my husband and then driving to work and getting settled in at the office and thinking how quick I was to react to simply seeing a piece of scripture. I remember years ago when I was 13, I think, when I was being confirmed, and my parents gave me for a confirmation gift a couple of things. I got a Star of David necklace, and I received um, a leather-bound, I don't know if it's actually leather-bound, but it looks like it's leather-bound book of Charlotte Bronte books, the collection. And I received this massive softcover um, Jerusalem Bible. And my mom had written in calligraphy the date of my confirmation and the passage from Isaiah, I have called you by name, you are mine. And I remember being so excited when I was 13 or 14 years old, and right up until like my 20s and 30s, being excited when I saw scripture someplace. You go to a football game or you see it on TV and see this, you used to see signs saying John 3:16. Now, I've talked about this in videos before, how ineffective those are. But the fact is that for some people, they knew what it meant. But for the person who wrote it, they knew what they meant. And that was powerful. That scripture was being used in a way that wasn't beating people down, that was trying to encourage people and lift them up. And I think that's beautiful. But the narrative seems to have flipped, at least for me, lately, is that in the last probably 10 years, but more so in the last 4 or 5 years, and almost like a snowball, getting bigger and bigger and bigger in the last year or so, I have noticed that scripture is being thrown out there not to encourage people, but it is being used to beat the hell out of people. And I know that that has always happened, and I know I lived a sheltered life, and that women in ministry, I lived in a world where women could be ordained since I was 5 years old. As we remember from just a couple of days ago, the 50th anniversary of the Philadelphia 11, I think it was 11, women who were ordained priests in Philadelphia 50 years ago. I mean, women have been able to be ordained priests for almost as long as I have been alive. And I've lived in that world, a world that was pretty secluded and pretty sheltered from the haters, from the people who would say, no, absolutely not. But we don't live in that world anymore. That hate has come out to the forefront. And with it has come this idea that scripture can be, and indeed for some people should be used, to beat people down, to prove to them how wrong they are, how contrary to God's will they are living their lives. And it's sad. It was very sad for me when I realized, when I read that passage from Isaiah, that somebody on my YouTube channel commented. I was very sad that my first instinct was that, oh, so here we go, the haters again. Someone's giving me proof that I shouldn't have said what I did. When indeed that person had the foresight and the beautiful heart to post something that was actually speaking positively to what I said. And I apologize to that person for my initial reaction. And I thank you for teaching me a life's lesson. I need to come back to being that naive kind of person. In scripture, again, I am not a scripture memorizer and I'm not really great at things, but somewhere in there, in one of the gospels, I know it's in the gospel, Jesus said something to the effect of that we need to be as wise, as sly as a fox, and as as peaceful, not peaceful, but as open as a dove. That we need to be able to live in our world as Christians, and I think as other people, not just Christians. We need to be able to live in that space where we're not stupid. We're aware. You cross before you look both ways before you cross the road. You push the button to make sure the walk sign comes up at a pedestrian crossing. You stop completely at a stop sign. You keep your eyes peeled to make sure there's no children who aren't paying attention that might run into the road. There are all kinds of things that we need to do to stay safe, to keep others safe, to be aware. We need to be savvy in the politics of our world. We are learning right now, and for those of you who get angry with me about talking about American politics, above the border and below, we need to be careful and pay close attention to what our politicians are saying. Are they speaking truth, or are they speaking a rhetoric that they hope is speaking to the base level of the people they're trying to reach? And the fact that we have to think that way, and probably always have had to with politics, the fact that we have to think that way is disheartening. That we need to be, but we need to be as sly as a fox. We need to be smart. We need to be on top of things. But at the same time, we can't become um, jaded. We need to be open and willing to see the best in people. We need to be able to wake up in the morning and see someone sharing a passage from the Bible and assume that it's encouragement and wisdom, not discouragement and hate. We maybe need to become more Pollyanna. I joke with my husband Rob about the fact that I'm very Pollyanna. Now, becoming a bishop has sort of um, rounded the edges of that Pollyanna thing, or maybe sharpened the edges of my be realistic part of my life. There are some things and some conversations I have had to have, and some things I have witnessed that are like, really? Like, that's a thing? Seriously? People treat people like that? I'm more aware because I think I'm just dealing with more people. I am more aware of the reality of the life that we are living. But the fact is, that I cannot allow myself to become so burned by the reality of life that I'm no longer able to share the good news with people, to be able to share Jesus with them, to be able to say to them, you are loved. And not in a sarcastic way, but to say you are loved. That's the thing about love. It's we don't have to like the person that we love all the time. There are many times with the people I love that I want to give them a good gib slap up the back of the head or say, what are you thinking? Remove your head from a certain orifice if necessary. That doesn't mean I love them. As a matter of fact, even when I don't like them, I think that's where I realize how much very much I love them. And that's the thing. We need to be wise as serpents, innocent as doves, I think is probably what I'm thinking about. The thing about foxes was foxes have holes to sleep in. So, okay, there you go. See, I'm filming this very early in the morning and my brain is not completely engaged. That's my excuse and I'm going to stick to it. But there really is a need for us to let go of the initial desire to be jaded, to assume that something is wrong, to assume that we are doing something inappropriate or that someone else is doing something inappropriate. We need to go back to that place where we assume the best. We're not stupid. We'll not get burned if we assume the best and we find out that we were wrong. But wouldn't our world be so much better, our day be so much better if we woke up in the morning and said, today's going to be a great day and anything that goes wrong I can handle, versus waking up in the morning and saying today's going to be a crappy day and if something good happens, well, awesome. I'd rather work into the awesome and deal with the crap when it comes. than slog myself through crap, because the fact is, what we expect of ourselves, what we expect of our day is pretty much what we're going to get. Glass half empty, glass half full. A glass that has water in it, there you go. That's a gift in and of itself, no matter how much it has. So maybe we need to look to the better. Maybe we need to stop assuming that when we hear people quoting scripture, or when we hear people quoting scripture, that they're intending to do the worst. And if they are intending to do the worst, then we need to pray for them. We need to be encouraging so that they might discover that scripture is not meant to tear down, but it is meant to build up. And indeed, that is what we are called to do. We are not called to tear down. We are called to build up. So as you go about your day, I invite you to think about scripture or poetry or some other written thing that you can think of that you could memorize really quickly. And when somebody says something to you, that you could share it with them. Just give them the permission, allow them the ability to just hear a good thought. Or better yet, encourage them to look up a good thought. It's so easy with Google. All you have to do is ask Siri. Have a great day. God bless you. I will see you again tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachel for Feel Good Friday, and on Sunday for Good Gospel on the Go. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Be as sly as the serpent and as innocent as a dove. God bless.